watching the CBS 58 News at 5:30.
Down, and Rodgers is hurt. He took a big hit at the end of that play just as he got it out, and it looked like he might have landed on that right shoulder.
A worst-case scenario, Aaron Rodgers carted off in the first quarter, unable to play for the rest of the game. The Packers are confirming it is a broken collarbone.
And Christina Tuso is here with us. Christina, this injury really overshadowed the game itself.
Absolutely. You can say whatever you want about there's no I in team. The bottom line is here, Aaron Rodgers makes it go when it comes to the Green Bay Packers. This is the Packers' worst nightmare, what happened this afternoon. The most important player on the field looking at missing the rest of the season, possibly. We're going to take a look at just how this happened this afternoon. In the first quarter, Rodgers rolling out of the pocket here, looking for Martellus Bennett, completely exposed. He gets taken down then by Anthony Barr, driven to the ground, as you could just see there, his arm taking the brunt of the impact, visibly in pain after this blow. He walks off the field. He was taken and evaluated in a tent on the sideline before being carted into the locker room, where his right arm just looked to be completely immobile. Rodgers did have some choice words for Barr after the hit, but no penalty was called. Now, the Packers just can't seem to stop the bleeding when it comes to injuries. The irony of today, though, Rodgers finally had a healthy offense to work with when he goes down in the first. Lineman Lane Taylor, David Bakhtiari, and Brian Balaga all follow. We're now going to take it out to our sports director, Kevin Holden, who is live in Minneapolis.
Christina, it was just 5 minutes into this game when Aaron Rodgers threw a seemingly innocent, incomplete pass to Martellus Bennett. Packers Nation had no idea that it would possibly be his last pass attempt of the season. Vikings linebacker Anthony Barr drove Rodgers to the turf, and the collective gasp from all of Wisconsin had just ended when Rodgers was on a cart to the locker room. The Packers' Twitter account says it's possibly a season-ending injury. That's a rarity to get that sort of news from a team in the middle of a game. And the Packers were clearly shaken from the loss of their star player.
Losing Aaron Rodgers, it speaks for itself. I mean, in my opinion, he's the best player in football. Aaron's a great player. He's a huge part of our success. But this is a team game. It's the ultimate team game, and we need to be better.
Aaron's my brother, so it's hard to see him go down. And, I'm praying for him. Pray for him every game. And I wish nothing but the best for him.
You're looking at video shot from our own photographer as Aaron Rodgers left the stadium on a cart after the game, and the frustration that you see on his face says it all. Packers Nation, of course, shares that frustration. A 4-2 record is little consolation when you know you'll be without Rodgers for a significant amount of time, possibly for the season. Emotional locker room reaction with Scott Grodsky here in Minnesota. That's coming up in just a little while here in the show. Kevin Holden, CBS 58 News.
Okay, thank you, Kevin. Let's go now to Jacqueline Abad.
She's been with fans at Major Goolsby's. They're obviously devastated by the news. Jacqueline?
Jacob, Amanda, some of the fans that I spoke with could not even put it into words how upset they were after they learned that Aaron Rodgers was hurt after the first quarter. This morning, fans decked out in green and gold were excited for the Packers to take on the Minnesota Vikings. Touchdown. But the tone of the game quickly changed after Rodgers got hurt.
I'm sick to my stomach. I can't look at the replay. I can't.
I'm hoping it's not a broken collarbone. I'm hoping it takes only a couple weeks for him to get back.
But Rodgers did break his collarbone. Back in 2013, Rodgers missed 7 games after he broke his left collarbone. And fans are hoping Rodgers' backup, Brett Hundley, could pull through to help carry the team.
Just got to keep my fingers crossed that Headley can pull something out.
It's not going to be the same without Rodgers.
Some fans are worried Rodgers' injury is affecting the other players.
The whole team seems depressed, and they're like, okay, we can't be dependent on one player. So we got to get our heads back in the game and go take it to Minnesota, who we hate so bad anyways. They should just hate the guys and say, let's take it to them. So,
although the rest of the season is still uncertain, fans are rooting for Rodgers.
After that Dallas game, we need you back out there, everybody. So get healthy fast.
These fans tell me that they're sending their thoughts and prayers to Aaron Rodgers, and they're hoping for a speedy recovery. Live in Milwaukee, Jacqueline Abad, CBS 58 News.
Thank you, Jacqueline. Well, Twitter really exploded at the sight of Rodgers' injury.
Yeah, we're talking about a real void in some people's lives. From Thomas Schreiber, quote, I would gladly give up my right collarbone for Aaron Rodgers' health. It would be the best thing my right side has done since birth.
All right, and from Darren, my entire life is revolved around the Packers and Aaron Rodgers, and I'm so shook right now. I have cold sweats. I think I'm getting pneumonia.
And Twitter user Fireflames tweeted out, "My life is meaningless without Aaron Rodgers."
Oh, okay, and our guy Gary Ellerson, a lot like every other Packer fan, saying just depressed right now, followed up by, "So this is what it feels like when you don't have a Hall of Fame QB." We'll definitely be hearing more from him tomorrow on the Game Zone. Recovery from a broken collarbone can take many forms.
Yeah, we talked to David Lee, a clinical associate professor at Marquette. He's also a member of the Wisconsin Athletic Trainer Hall of Fame. We asked about what he's seen when others have had this same injury.
Well, it will depend on whether it's surgically repaired. If it's surgically repaired, it's going to take a lot longer. But typically it would be in a sling and just resting so the bone heals. As soon as it's got enough healing, which is usually a week to 2 weeks, then they'll start doing range of motion of the shoulder, getting strengthening back of the shoulder, things like that for rehab.
And this isn't the first time Rodgers has hurt a collarbone either. He broke his left collarbone 4 years ago, back in 2013, in a Week 9 game against the Bears at Lambeau Field. The Packers were 5-3 before that injury and 2-4-1 in games Rodgers missed. Green Bay was still able to make the playoffs that year, beating the Bears in the final game of the season.
And you can join in this conversation. Tell us what you think about the injury and what you expect from the Packers now on the CBS 58 Facebook page.
All right, switching to the forecast now. A chilly fall day. Justin, at least it's not raining anymore.
Yeah, we did have about 48 hours of kind of off and on showers starting Friday evening.
Justin, thank you. And of course, you can keep track of the forecast wherever you go with the CBS 58 Ready Weather app. It's free for both Apple and Android products.
A search that shut down the freeway. The bizarre story of a local man who told deputies he was trying to avoid getting arrested and why that didn't work.
Those diplomatic efforts will continue until the first bomb drops.
And Secretary of State Rex Tillerson warns North Korea, stop now or face the consequences.
You're watching the CBS 58 News at 5:30 with Jacob Kittlestad, Amanda Porterfield, Ready Weather with Justin Thompson-Gee, and Sports Zone with Christina Tuso. Now, the CBS 58 Sports Zone with Christina Tuso.
You know, at the start of this week, Vikings head coach Mike Zimmer took to a podium and actually praised Aaron Rodgers' playing ability, so much so that he jokingly asked the Packers to trade him. Well, Green Bay would never trade their leading man, but Zimmer only had to play around him for 7 minutes today. Rodgers, marching the Packers down the field in the first, rolls out here and, of course, is sacked by Anthony Barr. You saw this before, the fatal blow to the Green Bay offense. No penalty is drawn here. The pass, he will then pass the baton off to Brett Hundley, who McCarthy says is the team starter moving forward after Rodgers suffered a broken collarbone. Well, welcome to the league, Hundley. He tries to open scoring late in the first, drops back, gets tipped, and then picked off by Xavier Rhodes. The Vikings taking advantage of this turnover. Case Keenum here darts into the backfield, then fires down to Jerick McKinnon, who wheels his way into the end zone for 27 yards. The Packers try and hang tough, but they fall today. 23-10 is your final. They now share the top of the division with the Vikings. Our Scott Grodzki joining us live from US Bank Stadium with more. Scott?
Christina, every minute of the Packers season, really every snap, whether it's the regular season, the playoffs, or even just a practice, centers around Aaron Rodgers and his importance, his value, the proof that he is the most important player on this team and one of the best players in the NFL was never more evident than after Rodgers was knocked out of this afternoon's game in the first quarter. Brett Hundley struggled to move the offense, throwing 3 interceptions. The defense then spent more time on the field, giving up 2 touchdowns to Jerick McKinnon. This is a veteran Packers locker room. They've seen Rodgers go down before. They've seen Jordy Nelson tear his ACL, lost some playoff heartbreakers, and come up 1 win short of last year's Super Bowl. But the feeling in the locker room today was just as depressing as it was in that night in Atlanta.
It's devastating, no question about it. You know, first and foremost, it's one of my closest friends, so to see him go down with that, it's tough. But we still got to play football, so we got a long season ahead of us, and we got to figure out what we're going to do.
It's disappointing when you lose anyone for the season. Obviously, your quarterback and someone who plays at that level. So it's something that we'll have to make an adjustment with.
You know, it's frustrating, obviously, just with how much he means to this team, you know, let alone the offense. But, you know, anytime he goes down, you hope it's nothing too serious. And you know, not seeing him come back out there is, you know, pretty disheartening.
It took about 10 seconds after Rodgers left the game before you started seeing rumors about his replacement online. You'd see names like Colin Kaepernick, Tony Romo, even Brett Favre showing up. Head coach Mike McCarthy stopping those right away. He said after the game, Brett Hundley is my starter, Joe Callahan is my backup. Reporting live from Minneapolis, Scott Grodzki, CBS 58 Sports.
You heard it here. On the college front, it might be the perfect storm for the Badgers. A win last night against Purdue helps them to a perfect 6-0 record for the first time in 6 years, making them bowl eligible yet again. Now, there's also a shakeup in the rankings, though, that has shifted in Wisconsin's favor. Check it out. Alabama still the #1. What else is new? 61 first-place votes there. #2, Clemson lost to Syracuse this week, while #5, Washington lost to Arizona State. Here's what that means. It lifts Wisconsin into the top 5 in the nation for the first time in a very long time. You'll remember that those first college football playoff rankings will come out on Halloween. It took a big second half out of UW defense to seal that 6th win yesterday.
Sometimes, you know, our offense might put us in that predicament, but that's why they feel like they got one of the best defenses in the nation. We'll get them out of there and we'll help them out. And, you know, can't stop our offense for too long, not with JT in the backfield.
So just how long? The last time UW found themselves in the top 5 was October 16th, 2011, when they were ranked 4th and also sitting at 6-0. That right there is a look at sports. We're back after this.